My Harvest Right freeze dryer just arrived. Let's unbox it, set it up, and I'll show you any things you might need to know your first time using it. If it's your first time freeze drying or you're a pro and you're just upgrading your machine. Box number one, the freeze dryer. Box number two, all the accessories you need to set it up. The grand reveal. Oh, baby. Gorgeous. First things first, where are you gonna put it? You want something that can hold it. This thing is heavy. You want a flat surface, and you want somewhere that's insulated. You don't want it getting too hot, too cold. So a garage will work, but not an uninsulated garage. I got mine on a roller cart. It's nice to be able to move it around. I could stash it. I could bring it into the kitchen when I'm prepping. I could put it away when I'm not using it and it's just freeze drying. First time I ever had freeze dried food was probably in like 3rd grade. Somebody comes to class who's a scientist and they pass around some crunchy ice cream and say, this is what astronauts eat. From that moment on, I wanted to be an astronaut, and I may not be an astronaut, but now I can eat astronaut food. Accessories, box number 2. Trays. Oxygen absorbers, help the food last even longer. Guide. Bags. Impulse sealer. Yep. Vacuum pump. Pump it up. Power cord. Lastly, oil filter. That's it. Obviously, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is read the instruction manual, right? You're gonna read this, right? This is my first time freeze drying, so I read the manual. I don't wanna mess this up. It's a little intimidating, but I'm also very confident. Thankfully, I read the whole thing. I'm a beginner. I'm gonna show you what I learned. And it says the first thing that you actually gotta do after you read the manual, we gotta set up the oil pump. I didn't even know freeze dryers needed an oil pump. Let's make a little room. I'm gonna slide it. It's not that bad. I did not buy oil. I hope this comes with oil. I think it does. Came with oil. Oil pump, cue Joe Budden. Another owner's manual, I'll be right back. Pretty easy, just a few things. This is the Premier Industrial Oil Pump. There's a couple of things and a couple of knobs that you really need to make sure are in the right position. Let's go through them. This knob is the ballast. Make sure it's in the O position for open. Keep that open at all times. This fitting is where you connect the hose that connects to the freeze dryer. Do that later. This valve is where you drain the oil. Make sure it's closed or the oil will pour everywhere. Only open it when you eventually need to change the oil every 20 to 25 batches or whenever the oil becomes cloudy. Check the manual. To fill it, remove the oil knob. Filling it, super easy. This knob says oil. It's where the oil goes. This is the demister. It helps separate water and oil. Very important. Remove it. Watch the sight glass as you're filling it. You need to fill the oil pump halfway. I used the entire bottle of oil that came with the pump. Last thing, turn it on. The on and off switch is on the back. There's a little line for the on side. And you could turn that on at all times because it's gonna plug into the freeze dryer and that's gonna control whether or not it's actually on. So just leave it on. That's it. Oil filled. That might be the most intimidating part for a lot of people. You can do it. You might feel motivated to start changing the oil on your own car after doing that. It was so easy, so. Okay, hard part's done. Next part. Now we gotta connect everything. And this is where we're gonna connect the oil pump. I thought I was missing something. Grab this box with a bunch of hoses and connections in here. This will connect the oil pump to the freeze dryer. Off connects right here. Both ends are the same. Tight. Hose number 1, connected. The oil pump doesn't need its own outlet. It actually plugs into the freeze dryer. So from the oil pump into the freeze dryer. Another power cable. That's it. One cable into the freeze dryer, oil pump goes into the freeze dryer. Get this connection right here. And then there's a drainage hose that will connect next. Turn around. This is going to be around the back. Let's see. Be very careful moving it around like this. Everything needs to remain flat. Here is the drain valve. This drains excess water from the freeze drying process. Extra tube to attach to drain valve. Hose attached. Put the hose in the bucket. You're supposed to keep this closed while it's freeze drying and then let it drain excess water after you're done freeze drying. So it's really important that this is closed when it's going. Also really important that the hose goes into a bucket and the hose is not submerged in any water, otherwise it'll suck back into the freeze dryer. So just make sure that there's extra room for the water to funnel out. It'll also exhaust some air into a bucket. Close the valve for the first test. 90-degree angle is closed. Everything's connected. Now I'm gonna test it out before I put food in it just to make sure everything works. And this is called a functional test. And to do this, you double press the top corner. You'll see this menu, functional testing. And we're gonna test the freezing function and the vacuum function. Right here, you could turn on freeze, and we're gonna let the freeze mode go for about 30 minutes. And the goal is to watch it go down to about -30 degrees Fahrenheit, -40 degrees Fahrenheit. And that'll tell you that the freezer part is working. And then after that, we run a vacuum test just to make sure we have a tight seal in the vacuum and that we're able to get the right pressure that we need, the right vacuum that we need. And then we'll test it with some food. So, hit this button. We let it freeze. You can hear it turn on. Check back in 35 minutes. Been about 40 minutes. We're at around -35 degrees Fahrenheit. The freezing portion is working. Now let's try the vacuum. For the pressure reading, the mTORs are around 60,000. We're gonna turn the vacuum on and we wanna see those go down under 1,000, maybe 500, to show that the vacuum's working. So now we're gonna turn the vacuum on, wait about 20 to 30 minutes to see that pressure number go down. I think I might have my first problem. Been about 20 minutes and the pressure hasn't changed. It's around 70,000 mTORs. So if I look at it, I see that you can see like this ring around the gasket hasn't fully formed, which to me would be a sign that like the vacuum's working and it's sucking in the door and creating that pressure. So I'm thinking that something to do with this seal. I read the manual, they said check all your connections and all the different places where you could lose pressure. I think it has to do with the seal. So I'm gonna try something that's not in the manual. I'm gonna try squeezing the door shut to see if I can create this seal, and then maybe the vacuum will catch and it'll work. So not in the manual, but let's just squeeze this. And I could already see it's creating that seal. And let's check the mTORs, and they're already starting to go down. It's moving fast. We're at 64, 60,000. I'm squeezing pretty tight, but I just let go and it's still going down, and you can see the seal caught. So that lets me know that it probably is something to do with the door being tight enough on the gasket. So I'm gonna look into it a little bit more. I'm actually gonna maybe hit up Harvest Rights or find somebody else on YouTube who might have had the same problem, and see if I can make more of a permanent solution, because I don't want to be squeezing the door shut every time. But yeah, you can see we got the seal now. We're at 16,000 mTORs and rapidly decreasing. So Mario's solution, it might work. Now it's been 35 minutes. We hit 170 mTORs. That is the goal. That's under 500, which is what you want to see. Problem solved. So now I need to figure out how to seal the door a little bit tighter. Looked online, Harvest Right has some videos showing you how you can actually tighten the doors. Sometimes screws get loose when things are being shipped to you, so it's a really easy fix. So I actually scheduled a call with Harvest Right. It's customer service. They seem to have like amazing customer service. They're actually gonna talk me through it. I think I could do it by myself. It looks pretty easy, but you know, this is a really valuable investment for myself. If I could talk to them personally, I think that's gonna be super helpful. So I have a call scheduled with Harvest Right. I'm gonna talk to them, gonna tell them what happened, and you know, just tighten the door and we'll check back in. Now I'm just gonna open up the valve and relieve the pressure. I don't know why that's so satisfying. So yesterday I spoke with the Harvest Right customer service team. They confirmed with me that there's likely some loose screws. They sent me some video examples that they have showing you how to tighten some screws on each of the edges and then also on the latch. Ran another functional test and it was able to create the seal that you need that I was able to create when I created my own pressure, and it works perfectly. So we're ready for the next step. And the first thing you want to do is run a bread run. So we're gonna freeze dry an entire loaf of bread, and that's just gonna help clean it out of any of those, you know, shipping smells, that used car, that used kitchen appliance scent that comes with new stuff. We're just gonna moisten some bread, run it through, and it's gonna clean it, remove all that. So take a loaf of bread, and this is your sacrificial loaf. So we are just gonna, you know, freeze dry it and then throw it out. So spray it with some water, get it looking moist. And now we are ready. Step one, turn it on with the switch on the back. Make sure the door is closed and hit start on the screen. If it's not already cool, then it's gonna cool for 15 minutes. Next, it says to close the drain valve, which I already did, and load the trays. Do what it says and hit continue. And what's great is it tells you exactly what to do. It has 3 stages that it automatically switches between. First, freezing, then vacuum freezing, and then drying. It starts with freezing for about an hour and a half. You could speed this up by freezing the food before you put it in. Next, it switches to vacuum freezing for about 30 minutes. That's when you'll see the door get suctioned closed and you'll see that seal. And then lastly, it goes to drying mode. This one's the longest, half a day, maybe a full day, maybe longer, but it'll tell you when it's done, which is huge because I was afraid I'd have to do a bunch of research to see how long certain foods take to freeze dry, but this has sensors that know when it's done and it'll automatically tell you. When it's complete, you'll see a few options. It's recommended to defrost it every time. It also offers more dry time as an option. You will rarely need this. Maybe if you fill the trays way too much, you'll be able to tell when you feel it if it isn't dry. And that's it. It worked. We got freeze-dried bread. And crispy. Oof. I want to try that I'm not going to eat this because you're not supposed to eat that first one, but like, I don't know, the best crouton ever type of texture. Space bread. And that is how you set up your Harvest Right freeze dryer. Make sure to subscribe for more freeze dryer recipes, tips, and all the things that I'm gonna learn along the way. My name is Mario Fabri. I've been a plant-based chef for over 5 years. I've been using dehydrators for over 10 years. So I'm a little bit of an expert at transforming food textures. Now I'm gonna, you know, be a fast student of freeze dryers. Comment if you have any suggestions, questions, or things that I should throw in there.